Okay, YouTube, this is Acid Roots, and I've got a Riff Raff review for you, which is Peach Panther. This came out in June, which was about the same time when Neon Icon came out, and I was actually pretty excited about this project. I was looking forward to it. He had said that it was supposed to come out in 2015, but it didn't. And I was one of the folks that thought, maybe he's not going to release an album after all, just because I haven't really seen him featured on too many folks' songs, and he just hasn't been around. But a few of the things Riff Raff was up to between 2014 and 2016 was he landed a deal that apparently made him a couple $1 million, something like that, and he dropped an EP. So those are among the two things that he did. The anticipation was very low-key for this album, and seeing where it went, there was only really one single, which almost feels like a promotional single, but I'm not sure if there were videos released on top of that. So, now that it's been almost 4 months since the project's been released, it's kind of the same thing that we thought about Neon Icon. It's just, the low-key nature of it is really the thing. And, that remains to be seen. It's in question whether or not this is a good idea, just because the music's pretty excessive. I actually did wind up liking 8 songs out of 12. So really, this is just as fun and as exuberant as Neon Icon was. There's not as many high-profile guests this time around. But, it remains to be in question whether or not what that next album's going to be. So, at least we know now it's 2 albums that we have that are pretty good by Riff Raff. And there actually is a third. He did drop one in 2012, which I'm probably going to review at a later point. But as far as this has been concerned, it's difficult seeing who he collaborates with and these type people, but I think really now that he's heading into his 3rd and 4th album and that sort of thing, it's about time we get some, circumference. And so that leads to what's going on. Carlos Slim is the single. It's kind of, if I haven't said that, it's a promotional single, or it feels like it. And it's probably the song that has gotten the most spins at this point. Now, obviously, there are tons more. This is a beautifully produced album. There are songs like the Gucci Mane song, I Drive By, Shout Out to the Bay is a thumper, and All I Ever Wanted is another brilliant one. Chris Paul is really good. Almost every beat on this album is magnificent, so that's something to be expected. But we're going to get... Furthermore, the best part is that Riff Raff is kind of a lyricist. So I noticed that on Neon Icon, and I was thinking, that was kind of a reason why I wanted to hear more from him, to see what more would show up. And it's kind of, the things that he says. Some folks may not think he's Eminem or any of these other lyrical folks that there are listed. I almost see him as sort of like a freestyle rapper, that sort of thing. So, but, this is good, because there's not a ton of white rappers that may be freestyle type dudes. So, with that, that's an extra bonus. And so the 7 songs that you need to hear are Carlos Slim, Only in America, Chris Paul, All I Ever Wanted, I Drive By, Shout Out to the Bay, Bet You Didn't Know, and Syrup Sippin' Assassin. Kind of a tongue twister. Yeah, so that was the Almost song, the Syrup Sippin' one. And so really, 7 out of 12, that's more than half the album. With the 8th song, he kind of sings on that one. It's supposed to be kind of like a future type song, but, it's not bad. So that's about the only thing. There are some hooks on here, some good hooks, by the way. So this album's going to get a 7.5. 7.5 seems a good score for this. And I don't remember what I gave Neon Icon, but this is just as good, and it's quickly starting to fill up a catalog. So the only other problem with it is we just need Riff Raff in more places. You know, really, with these more unheard of artists that he's working with, if none of these guys are going to drop an album, it's kind of hard seeing where we're ever going to hear from him again. So he's really the one-man army at this point in time. Just haven't seen too many collaborators right now. So that's a half complaint. The social score I will give a 5 out of 10, which means how well it plays around your friends. There's only one single, and it hasn't charted at all, so that should let you know, but the quality is so good, you know. So that's about the other thing. So can this record be topped? Probably just a hair. And the future, this came out in June, so that's about the other thing. So subscribe for more fun. That's the Riff Raff review.